Everything's working. Hey everyone! How's it going? Welcome back to Nintendo Prime Podcast, episode 23. I know, the thumbnail for our last one technically says 23. The title says 22. The title's correct. The thumbnail's wrong. So, it is what it is. How you guys doing? I hope you're having a lovely night. I hope everything's working for us over here. We're kind of back to our original podcast setup that we intended for this current set that we have. We have a special guest on, by the way. We're floating above my head. Mr. Andres Restart, baby. How's it going, bud?
I'm chilling. I thought it was kind of funny how, like, you had hit me up earlier this week. It's like, hey, do you want to come on? And I'm like, what time? And I didn't say anything else. Like, in my brain, I was just like, yeah, of course I'm going to come on. But I didn't tell you anything else. So you just thought I was ignoring you.
Yeah, I was like, are you coming on? Are we good? And no response. Then today I hit you up. I'm like, hey, man, it's cool if you're not coming on. Can I just know so I can try to scrounge somebody else on?
In my brain, I responded.
Yeah, I was always going to be on. We're good.
Yeah, I just didn't actually provide words to you. Sure. But, yeah, man, I'm excited to come on. I'm excited to talk about maybe Donkey Kong, maybe GoldenEye, and other cool stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah. We haven't had a podcast guest on in a while, so we welcome you back to the cast. It's awesome. We have some
welcome you back to YouTube.
Guys, by the way, out there about the channel. We'll talk about that in a moment. Because our very first topic, we're gonna be addressing the reason that we didn't even have a podcast last week.
Yeah.
Wasn't because Eric and I weren't available. We were actually here.
Yeah.
We ended up playing like Back 4 Blood.
I was gonna say it gave us a great gaming 6 hours of Back 4 Blood,
which was like that was cool. We haven't had a good gaming night like that.
That is very true.
But we would have liked to do our show like normal. We could have gamed around the show, but so. Obviously, if this is your guys' first time seeing us on a live stream since it happened, because you only come and watch the podcast, or if you only listen to our audio version, the thing is, we got hacked last week and lost the channel for almost 72 hours. It wasn't quite 72 hours. It was a bit of a rough one. I'm not going to go into the details of exactly how the hack occurred. No, folks, my password was not stolen. So people keep bringing up, Nate, you brought up how you use the same password for everything. It wasn't a literal sense. It was like my Wi-Fi password is also like, I don't know, the password to get onto my fiance's computer or something like that. It's not that my bank accounts are using the same passwords as my Wi-Fi or that my YouTube channel didn't have its own unique password. They all had unique passwords for stuff that money's involved, right? I make money on YouTube. I have money in the banks. Those have way more complex passwords that now I don't even know because I had to change them all. It took me a long time to memorize the ones I had, so it is what it is. But no, they didn't actually steal the password. It was that they got a piece of malware onto my computer and were able to grab an access file that exists in your cache on your web browser once you log in. That access file doesn't actually give them the password because it's encrypted, but you can import that access file into another web browser and it'll just automatically have you logged in. And then once you're in, YouTube security measures once you're logged in are not very good. As an example, they go to change your backup email. They don't confirm the backup email change. They just let you change it. Just like they let you change the old phone number. No confirmation. Now, I can understand if you don't have, you change your phone number, you don't have your old phone number. But the email thing doesn't make any sense. If you change the backup email, you should be able to confirm at the prior email. And if you can't, then get a hold of YouTube to change your backup
sorry
email.
To interrupt you, but your microphone's a little fuzzy. Like, you're entirely audible to me, but every time you talk, there's, like, a little bit of static.
Is there?
Behind your voice.
Hold on.
Is it the fan?
Is that better?
Talk, for more than a second.
No, I see the static over there.
Is it
you see it?
Picking up the fan?
Is it just you being really high? Let me turn your mic down.
Yeah, I think it's me picking up the fan.
No. It was just your mic.
That sounds better, I think.
Good there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's because we had the gain really turned up on Eric's. Eric, just talk louder.
Fuck you.
Anyways.
Was that loud?
It's cool, though. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm sure everyone else is
doing
that as well.
Yeah.
I was wondering what it was, because I saw like a little static thing, and I was like, what is that? And I realized his mic is turned way up. So, all right. Yeah, I know I'm a bit low in volume, but here's what happens when I turn it up. Well, maybe it won't happen for me. There's the static again.
I don't. That was too loud.
There's a sweet spot. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It is what it is, guys. We make do the best we can, all right? All right? We haven't had a guest on in a long time. My microphone is traditionally really quiet, by the way, because I talk loud.
Yes, he does.
And you don't want me, when I scream or shout or get really excited, to end up blowing your eardrums out. So turn your volume up on your guys' side, because I know you can do that, and it sounds fine, because I've listened to my podcast back, and it sounds fine when I turn the volume up. So here's the deal. Here's the dealio. We got hacked last week, and yeah, so that's how they gained access. I'm not going to get into. I've already talked about a little bit about how it happened. So people think I'm blaming my children for some reason. By the way, my children never got in trouble for it. Just so you guys are aware. Some people out there thought that you should just go beat your kid. No, it's my fault, folks. I should have had my computer on sleep mode so they couldn't get on it. So I don't blame my kids. Yeah, they know not to be in here. And sure, we had a little, talk and lesson and, a little bit of scolding. But there was not like, oh, my God, you're grounded for 2 weeks. No, I was a kid. And I know what happened when my dad tried doing that. It didn't make anything any better. It's like, no, just make it so I can't get on your stuff. Problem solved. So, yeah, it's all on me for not locking down work.
They did it out of ignorance.
It's just. I've never had a problem with it in 4 years, and my kids are older now. So, obviously, higher chance of there being a problem. So, it is what it is. So we dealt with all that, dealt with YouTube, which that was a whole mess. YouTube is not good when it comes to dealing with stuff like this. You don't get to talk to a human, for starters. I didn't speak to an actual human at YouTube for, 32 hours? Meaning for 7.5 hours, there was a live stream on my channel, which had its name changed, that I couldn't do anything about. Mm-hmm. Bare minimum, I wanted that stream taken out.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything about it.
To a certain extent, you're really lucky they didn't stream porn and just completely get your channel.
Even then, I would have got it back. But here's the thing. It was permanently banned. They confirmed it was hacked, got it back to me. Eric and I are in the middle of the night. We get it back. And then I go to sleep and wake up, and my channel's terminated. So their teams aren't communicating. I got the termination overturned, of course, which if they were streaming porn, it also would have got overturned. I made sure to confirm once I was talking to a human that if that was what they would have streamed, because it was confirmed that you were hacked. So, they know it wasn't you on your channel, so we're not going to punish you in that way. Now, there's other ways my channel has been unfortunately affected. And it's not just the lost subscriber count. There are other things like my ad revenue is now cut in half. It is what it is. I have no idea when it's going to bounce back. It's kind of tough shit. You got hacked and there was an illegal stream on your thing. That triggers the automated system, because everything's automated at YouTube, to say, oh, nope, you did something naughty. We're going to knock you down an ad tier.
And of course,
it is what
they
it
don't
is.
go back and revert that either.
Oh, no, because they can't. I actually asked them, and they manually cannot do it. It's all automated.
Why?
It's all.
Why did you not
it's
have
all
a manual override?
Because
that
YouTube.
is just stupid.
YouTube is ran by AI.
I get that, but you should have a manual
Nope,
override for
there's
everything.
Nope. As an example, changes to the
God,
algorithm. They didn't change anything to the algorithm. The AI just decided to change it. Everything is AI.
Criminy.
You literally the little amount of control actual humans have over YouTube is really almost embarrassing. But it is what it is. I'm not going to complain.
It's like YouTube is
a free
like
platform
this.
that costs me nothing to upload videos to, and that's pretty cool. So, and hey, they pay me. By the way, YouTube wasn't always this way. Not everyone could make money, and you used to have an MCN. If people don't know, that's why MCNs existed. You couldn't have ads on your YouTube channel without being part of a network. But
now
Google enabled AdSense for everybody. So, it's kind of crappy because YouTube basically has a monopoly on the form of video, not on live streams, but the form of video delivery we have. There's other options like Daily Motion, but they're not really options, There's not a big audience there. There's no discovery there. And pretty much if you've heard of Daily Motion, it's probably because you looked up a show illegally to watch online. It's probably the only reason you probably even heard of Dailymotion. I can give you an example. The entire Zelda cartoon series, and go ahead, Nintendo, come at me. I don't even care. I don't have access to the account anymore. I uploaded the entire Zelda cartoon series on an old Zelda Informer email account on Dailymotion back in the day, and it's still up to this day. So if you've ever enjoyed, for free, the entirety of the Zelda cartoon series online, it was probably from me uploading it. Because they have like millions and millions and millions of views. It is what it is. Dailymotion, I don't know how they don't get dinged as much legally.
I'm seeing people are saying that I'm loud in the chat. Should I like adjust my audio level?
Yeah, I would turn yourself down. I turned it down on my end, but if I turn it down anymore, it's like...
let me do it on Discord. I don't like touching the actual microphone.
Yeah. All right, well, you're doing that. So, obviously, we got the channel back. Everything is good for the most part. Obviously, we talked about the ad revenue being cut in half. My videos are out of order. There are some things I just can't do anything about.
How's that?
I had...
Guys in the chat, let me know if that sounds better.
Yeah, you look better on my end now. You look about even with me. So that should be good.
That sounds better?
That should be good.
Okay.
The chat will let you know. Is it
okay,
good,
yeah,
chat?
let me know, guys.
Are we all good here? This is the problem with audio checks. Things can sound fine on my end, but not your guys's. That's perfect. Yeah, sounds great now. Good. We're good. All right, so I was dealing with all this behind the scenes and obviously pretty stressed out about it, especially as we were coming up to the end of the month. We obviously had Dreadtober giveaways going on, and it was all just a big kerfuffle. And my bank account was also tied directly to my channel, so I locked down, not my main bank, like we have multiple bank accounts, but the bank account that has all the YouTube revenue in it, that one I locked down because I didn't want to risk them making withdrawals because my account information was on there, wire transfers, all that jazz. So locked all that down, and unfortunately it's going to take like 2 to 3 weeks to unlock everything because I have to wait for new cards, and I have to wait for basically them. They're basically going to be going through every transaction, making sure there wasn't any fraud, and then moving it to an entirely new account, so I have a different account number. So that's just taking a little bit to sort through there. But that's whatever. It's fine. We have other sources of revenue and other bank accounts. We're fine. It's not a big deal per se. It just matters for the giveaways. That's why the Dreadtober giveaways have been extended, because I'm extending them until I have access to the account to pay for them. But that's neither here nor there. What really matters is what's happening with the future of the channel. So today, officially, some people got really upset because they saw their memberships were paused. And the last time they saw that their memberships were paused was last week when we got hacked, which I find weird that they paused the memberships when they hacked us, considering that that's a revenue stream. Wouldn't they want that money too? I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. So people thought we got hacked again because they got that email saying their membership was paused. No. After talking to several bigger YouTubers behind the scenes who were helping me out through this process, trying to get their YouTube contacts involved and everything, I have decided to rejoin the space of multi-channel networks. A little reluctantly, but also a little bit intelligently. For starters, I can leave in 3 months and be done. So if it's a mistake and I don't like it, I'm out. Peace. I got a decent contract. It's 90-10. That's better than I had before. Last time was MCM was like 80-20. Before that was 70-30. So it is the best I've ever gotten, and there is a potential to negotiate it down even smaller as we get bigger. So we'll see what happens on that front. But why did I join the multi-channel network? Well, for starters, they could have shut down the live stream. So because there's 2 access points to the channel with an MCN connected to it, because they can't disconnect the MCN. If you've ever had MCNs, guys, any of you YouTubers out there, it's a little bit of a process to disconnect an MCN. You can't just click a button and be done with it. It's a 2-way street. So because of that, they would have still had root access to the channel and been able to backdoor it and shut down that live stream without YouTube even needing to be involved. So that's one thing. If we got hacked again, they can do stuff that I can't. Mm-hmm. Cool. 2, they have direct contact with actual humans at YouTube. And they basically ping every time someone's hacked. In fact, while I was on the meeting, someone got hacked, and they literally had the CEO of the entire company, like literally just hopped on it like that and got YouTube to respond within 30 minutes. It was sweet. I got to watch that happen live. That was really cool. Now you can argue it could have been a setup, of course, which who knows? It's not like I went through and verified all of it. But it is kind of cool, like, if that is the case. And the thing is, Screenwave Media is who I signed up with, and they are actually really well known in the gaming world of YouTube channels. I didn't even know all the YouTube channels under it. Obviously, a lot of people know Cinemassacre and Angry Video Game Nerd is under that banner. But not just them. Apparently, like, Spawnwave's under there, RGT, Beat 'em Ups, Bob Wolf, pretty much everyone who's in my sphere of content creators, probably not Andres Restart yet, is in this multi-channel network. So that obviously gives me some confidence, obviously, that other people in my space are trusting this and haven't left and have been there for years. So there's that, and the extra protection and the direct connection to YouTube to prevent this in the future. Just a little peace of mind. Obviously, we also had that revenue issue last year. They would have been able to help out with that. So that's one thing, a little peace of mind. Two, there's something I hate dealing with, and is something that helps diversify the channel, and that is sponsorship and brand deals. We had a number of them during E3. Took a lot of time to really get those set up. But half my stress for E3 was setting up those dang sponsorship and brand deals. I don't want to deal with it, and I'm constantly emailed at least 2, 3, 4 times a week with potential brand deals. I usually end up turning them down. As you guys know, I haven't had a brand deal here actually in quite some time. There was one deal I was working out quite recently that fell through, and I said, you know what, whatever, it's not even worth my time. So they already have a bunch of brands and stuff they work with, and they showed me a few of them, and you know, they don't know which campaigns I can get into and whatnot because the campaigns sell out and all that. But yeah, they're going to be handling all of that for me. So I'm going to have a different public-facing email for business purposes. They'll be able to contact. Now, if you guys want to contact me directly, I encourage you to join our Discord server. I encourage you to follow me on Twitter. My DMs are open on Twitter. I don't respond to everyone who DMs me, but I do check all the DMs. So there are ways to directly contact me. It just won't be through email unless it's for a giveaway specific thing. So yeah, there's going to be a different email here in the next few days. So all these companies can contact them directly, and then they'll filter everything down to me. Now I can still go into that email if I want. It's not like it's withheld from me, but they're going to have an actual sponsorship brand person who's going to be handling all that for me, doing all the negotiations. And basically, they're just going to come to me and say, sign here. You're going to get this paycheck, and here is the stuff, and here's the content that you need to make for it. And that's that. Simple. Really simplifies it for me. I don't have to deal with the back and forths. And they have people available 24/7 to deal with it. So when you got like people in China or people in Europe that are trying to do brand deals, hey, I'm not usually awake to do that, so it takes a long time to communicate. They'll be able to deal with that. So there's that. And I emphasized with them that I really, really want my brand deals to become a staple at the channel moving forward as a way to diversify revenue in case YouTube ever comes along and says, yeah, we're going to take 4,000 from your channel again because you have bots on your channel. That was the excuse last year. So because of that, we'll see how it goes with them. I told them how important it is. They're also going to help me with some networking and invite us to, both of us, to different cons and stuff where we'll get VIP access, which I don't really care as much about the VIP access, but they did emphasize to me how important it is to network.
Oh, yeah.
So it is what it is. Apparently, guys, I found out the Spawncast was created in large part because of Screenwave Media. So you know how they got the same people on the Spawncast? It's because they all met at a Screenwave Media event. So who knows? You know, who knows what could happen in the future? The problem is one of the only real events they run in our area is in Ann Arbor.
Oh.
So like, yeah. I'd probably fly there. I wouldn't drive 10 hours. But I mean, still, it's not that big.
I mean, you and I just sit in the car for 10 hours. Not that bad.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, literally, we could fly there and back in the same day.
I know.
In like half-hour flight or so, whatever it is. Really quick flight. Zoom on over. It would have been nicer if we were going to get that speed train built, but anyways.
Well, it would take us an hour and a half to drive to the cities, first off.
So?
And then an hour.
So it'd still be faster than driving 11 hours.
Yeah,
I did them. It's 11 hours drive. It's crazy. Anyways, so I just signed up with them, and we'll see how it goes. They were very, very nice. I talked to multiple people at the company. I got direct contact with people. It is what it is. So yeah, we give up 10% of our revenue. Now, some of you guys might be worried. What about our memberships and our donations? I want to make this clear to you, as they made it clear to me, and it's spelled out directly in the contract. They do not take 10% of your super chats. They do not take 10% of the memberships. Those are untouched by them.
Wow.
They are only touching Google AdSense revenue. Everything that you guys give to the channel goes to me. So, no fear that money that you've been given to me is now going to go to them. Not happening. That was a big thing I was worried about as well, because prior MCNs had just taken a cut of everything. And they're like, nope, we don't want money that we feel you are earning through the loyalty of your fan base. We only want the money that you're earning from basically Google.
That's impressive.
So, that's really, really cool. Yeah, just turn ads off and then they make nothing. I don't know that. I think they might drop me at that point. I don't know if they'd stick with me. So we'll see if they deliver on the brand deals and all that. I did, by the way, mention hey, it would be cool to have like a booze sponsor for our live streams. I do drinks and shots on live streams. They're like, yeah, working with alcohol companies is very, very tricky. And I'm like, I know, but I don't care. I'll be your first. I'll be your guinea pig.
Yeah, right.
But I did tell him, some ideas of things I think would work well with the channel. Any sort of drink sort of sponsor. It doesn't have to be Monster in this case. It can be whatever. It works fine because we're always drinking something on our podcast.
Yeah, we are.
So really, really natural fit to just squeeze something in for that. I gave them some other ideas, and they gave me ideas as well. So we'll see what happens, guys. I have no idea if this is going to work out. It might just be a mistake, but if so, it's just a 90-day mistake. Not a big deal. And I don't think anyone can blame me in reaction to getting hacked. That, you know what, I just wanted that extra layer for peace of mind right now. And we'll see what happens down the line. That being said, you guys have any thoughts on any of this hacking stuff? I mean, Eric knows obviously more about it because he was here dealing with it.
I don't know. It's just stupid the fact that you can't get a hold of the people that you need to get a hold of. YouTube is just God.
YouTube's dumb
in that in that area. I just find it absolutely asinine that you can't get a hold of them.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb that YouTube has nowhere to get and the thing is they used to. They just don't anymore. They used to have a call center at Google, believe it or not, guys. You guys seen the movie The Internship? They did a call center in that movie. That call center actually existed back then. It doesn't anymore. You can't call Google for anything. So, yeah. Eric, sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Right.
Anyways, so I guess let's get into the show that you guys are really here for, right? Let's talk some video games, shall we? Right? That's a thing we do here at this channel.
Yeah.
Do we talk games?
I mean, it does say Nintendo there.
And there's SpongeBob in the background, but he does have games.
He does.
He does have games, huh?
He does.
All right, let's get into some game talk. What was our first game topic?
Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
movie?
Donkey Kong, which I guess isn't necessarily games, but related. So a rumor popped up today at thegiantrobot.com or whatever, some sort of website, that actually has a really good track record with rumors about TV shows and movies. So that's why a lot of people, even IGN, picked up on it, because this place has really good track record with these leaks. And they are claiming that we are going to get a Donkey Kong movie made by Illumination. Obviously the same people making the Mario movie. Obviously going to be voice acted by Seth Rogen, because it's just they're kind of spin it off of the Mario movie, I would assume. Mm-hmm. So Mario next year, maybe DK in 2023 or something like that. And this, to me, I know this is just the way it is now since Marvel, but the Nintendo Cinematic Universe seems to be a real thing.
Heck yeah.
Yes, it's happening.
It's happening.
It's
you guys
happening.
didn't think they were going to get Seth Rogen and have him only be in this, right? Of course he's got to have his own movie.
Yeah. So that was a crazy thing when we got the September Direct and they showed off all the different actors, a lot of high-profile actors for these different Nintendo characters. But then when they showed Seth Rogen for Donkey Kong, that was like a hold-up a moment. Like, I feel like it was just like a little bit higher tier than the others, in my opinion. But then they were also like, oh, yeah, we got this other guy for Cranky Kong as well. It's like, wait, Cranky Kong's in the movie too? Like, it's not just Donkey Kong in there? Like, Donkey Kong... First of all, I was surprised to see that Donkey Kong's going to be in the movie, right? Because Donkey Kong's, like, expanded Mario universe kind of character. Like, he's not a part of, like, the main Mario universe. Right? I mean, he is, but you don't understand my point. He's, like, the expanded one, right? You usually don't see Donkey Kong as an actual character with dialogue in a Mario game, unless it's, like, Mario and Donkey Kong. Right, but like for example, there was no Donkey Kong with dialogue in Super Mario Odyssey. but there was a Donkey Kong reference, but that was kind of like the biggest crossover we had seen between them in a mainline game in a long time. You go to Sunshine, you go to Mario 64, no mention of Donkey Kong, right? So to see Donkey Kong here, it's like, wait, that's interesting. But then to see that it's not just Donkey Kong, but also Cranky Kong, that's very interesting, especially considering that now it's officially confirmed, but we knew about it because of blueprints, but they are the next planned expansion for the Nintendo Universal Park is a Donkey Kong expansion. And then we consider the Donkey Kong characters in this Mario movie, that Donkey Kong Park expansion, and now these rumors of the next Nintendo movie being a Donkey Kong movie. It is related to games. It is related to games because this brings us back to a few months ago. We were talking about the Donkey Kong game that's being made by internal Nintendo, like EPD. It all comes together. The big piece to that rumor was that Nintendo has this big plan to bring back Donkey Kong, to make it a big deal. How do you do that? The basis for all of that has to be a big, awesome game. That's the basis. That's the core. These Donkey Kong movies, this Donkey Kong Park, that's all just peripheral stuff to support. It's complementary or supplementary content that's coming. The big thing is a Donkey Kong game. I don't know that with 100% certainty, but that's what I hardcore believe. So that's exciting.
Yeah. No, seriously, it's very curious because obviously we had the Donkey Kong game rumors, which we were hoping would be unveiled this year for the 40th anniversary. They weren't. Whatever. Maybe it's not ready to go yet. And they obviously have plenty of other content. So we'll have to see what comes of it. I do think we'll get a new Donkey Kong game eventually anyways. I don't think they're just going to leave it at Tropical Freeze and be done. There clearly is going to be more Donkey Kong at some point. He's one of their primary mascots, hello. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Because we do know, obviously, they did publicly announce, for sure, this is confirmed, they are doing a Donkey Kong expansion, right? So at the Universal Theme Park. So we already know that that's a thing. And I just don't feel like they're going to do that and not try to like tie that into a bunch of other DK stuff around the same time, which conveniently, that part's not opening until like 2023, which would work really well for a movie and a game, potentially. We'll see. Of course, a lot of us think the game might come next year, but whatever. You know, it can kind of all be a long tide of things. And just like there might be a Mario game next year, and there's a Mario movie, so who knows? You know, it does feel about time for a new Mario game, by the way, since new Zelda game's supposed to be next year, and last Mario game we got happened to be 4 years ago, so
right.
Like mainline Mario game, of course.
Yeah, you could argue that Bowser's Fury, 3D World plus Bowser's Fury pushes that up a little bit. Because that was a good 10 to 15 hours game. Yeah, it was fairly substantial. You know, not as long as Mario Odyssey, but you know, it was.
Yeah, it was one of those like, would I pay $60 for it? I don't know, but it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. So
and then the base game 3D World was still like compared to other Wii U ports it was pretty. They did some nice work to it, you know. It had gotten a little bit of a visual bump. They sped up the gameplay. Like there's a number of quality of life improvements, and then they added Bowser's Fury. Like 3D World plus Bowser's Fury was kind of a big deal. But because of that, I do kind of think that the timeline in the next 3D Mario is kind of pushed up a little bit. I don't know if next year is the year for 3D Mario. Like, so there's an interesting sort of difference in my opinion. Okay, so like with the Mario movie, there doesn't need to be a Mario game at the basis of it all to kind of like propel that forward, right? Because Mario is the most established Nintendo character by far. There's Mario content coming out every single year. It's not the same thing. But with Donkey Kong, I do think it's different. I think with Donkey Kong, there needs to be a game at the core of it all. If there's no game at the core of it all, it's kind of weird, I think. Now, you know, you can make the argument that Donkey Kong's presence in this Mario movie is going to raise awareness for the Donkey Kong brand because, you know, it's riding the coattails of Mario. But then they could, you know, branch off and then have the Donkey Kong movie afterwards, you know? So that kind of works. But then they're also playing this Donkey Kong Park. Like, that all kind of works, but I still feel like at the basis of it all, there has to be a game, a good one, a big one. And that is Nintendo's core business, games, right? When Iwata, before he departed, his plan, you know, the NX is a big part of the plan, right? The NX being the Switch, But another big part of the plan was to expand Nintendo with multimedia and mobile games, and they've done that with mobile games, and now they're starting to do it with movies and parks and stuff. But the core of it all is the games, right? The idea of the movies, the idea of the parks, the idea of the mobile games was to propel the main core games on the NX, the Switch. That's the core, right? So I think we're gonna see the Donkey Kong game. I mean, we already have those rumors circulating things. I've told you that I've been told things as well. It's. I think that's at the core. I'd be shocked otherwise. But the timing of it is also interesting, right? Because when does that happen? Like, we were hoping we would get an announcement this year, but when it comes to these rumors, I've heard that it's real, but that doesn't mean Nintendo has to put it out when we want them to put it out, right? Like, Skyward Sword HD was teased to us by Aonuma years before it was actually announced, So when does it actually happen? Same thing with Prime Trilogy HD or Metroid Prime, whatever it ends up being, a remake or the 3, we've known about that for a few years too. So, I'd love for it to be announced soon, but conceivably, because maybe the movie doesn't come out. The movie's not coming out. The Donkey Kong movie's not going to come out till 2023 at the earliest. I'd be surprised actually if it came out 2023 because these movies take a while. This Mario movie's been in development for a long time. Now they may, jump right into the Donkey Kong movie. They may be developing it alongside of it. This thing may have already been in the works for quite some time already, but I don't know if they're going to be divided by a year. That I feel like, I don't know. I don't think Nintendo's just going to all of a sudden start pumping out a movie year by year immediately. Maybe we get to that point at some point, right? It is kind of like Marvel where we're seeing multiple things every year, but it's not going to happen overnight or in the course of a year. So I'm not even sure we see the Donkey Kong movie in 2023. I would expect maybe 2024 at the earliest. That's just my personal expectation. We don't know. We don't have that much details.
Yeah, we haven't even seen Mario yet, so it's
yeah,
they're pretty confident when it's coming out, and I'm sure. I mean, they could show it, I suppose, if they wanted to, but
yeah,
I don't know. They're really very. I mean, it's just how long do we have to wait to finally see the Spider-Man trailer when we knew that's coming this year? It's we know it's coming, but they literally kept us waiting and waiting and waiting. It's they could have showed it sooner, but it's all about marketing and it's all about driving hype closer to when it's actually going to hit theaters so people don't forget about it and just kind of push the hype to then. Or maybe push the disappointment for some people. Because I know some people are not happy with some of the voice acting choices.
Have you seen the Dune movie?
The which one?
The Dune movie.
The new one? I have not seen the new Dune movie. No.
Well, I mean, they already confirmed part 2.
Okay.
But I think part 2 is not slated until 2023.
Sure.
So, they announced part 2 immediately after part 1, and it's coming out 2 years later. So I'm just saying,
movies usually take a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it just kind of serves my point that I feel like it might be safer to expect this Donkey Kong movie, if real, to not come out till 2024. I just don't see 2023 really being a thing for the Donkey Kong movie.
The reason I say 2023 is because it's animated. They have Illumination. We already know has released multiple animated films in the same year, let alone it's consecutive years. So that's why it's they could work on Mario and Donkey Kong at the same time. They don't even have to mutually make them at different times. That's kind of it's a little different when it's an action or a live person movie because while you have your recording, then you have all the post editing and all that stuff that gets done.
Yeah.
And so and you're not going to keep the actors just working nonstop for 2-3 years straight. They have their break as well. So that's usually why those movies take 2 or 3 years. I mean, I know people be like, oh, but the Marvel movies, it's a little different because they separate everything out. There's different teams for each movie. So the main actors aren't necessarily in every single movie. And even when they make appearances, they're usually small cameo ones. Right. Although we know in the Spider-Man one, Doctor Strange isn't a little cameo. He's pretty much half of the dang movie. But that's cool. We'll see. The thing is, we don't know. We haven't even seen the Mario movie, and we don't even know if it's going to be good yet. I think this is more so, to me, if this is true, shows confidence that Nintendo has, and Illumination, everyone involved, has that Mario is going to be a success. Because if Mario flops, it doesn't make sense to do a DK movie.
Yeah.
But I think they think it's going to hit. So we'll see. I mean, they went and got a bunch of big name they didn't do that for no reason.
Yeah.
They
No, they're
truly
putting
think
money into
this
this.
thing is going to be huge. You know, they probably saw what Sonic did. They saw what Detective Pikachu did, and they said, "This is Mario. It can do that."
Right.
We'll see.
No.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I mean, the movie doesn't even have to be like a really, really, really good like movie in terms of like winning awards. Like, it just has to be okay.
Well, just look at all the Final Fantasy movies. Most of them are just terrible, but they keep
Right.
making them because they make enough money to keep doing it.
I'm just saying the movie doesn't like Detective Pikachu and the Sonic movie. They're okay, right? Like in terms of like just like as a movie,
They're great
like
for
as a
video game movies.
Yeah, they're great for video game movies.
In
The
the
bar
sense
is
of a
so
video
low.
game movie, holy crap, most of them suck. So these ones,
Right,
did
because I
suck.
mean, if we're just comparing video game movies, they're some of the highest rated video game movies ever.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about just like as a movie, they're pretty like
they're fun family flicks.
above average.
they're
Yeah,
fun
they're
family flicks.
slightly above average family movies. Right, they're not bad, but they're not greatness. You know,
Yeah.
they're not winning like nominations and stuff like that. Like so the point is with the Mario movie, like there isn't a high bar that they have to hit if you just look at
Well,
it
we don't
as
know
a
what
movie.
their bar is though.
Right.
Well,
We don't know, 'cause
I
this is
actually
Nintendo now, like
I
Pokemon Company
would say
handled the
that
other one.
I say that we
Sega with
do
Sonic.
know what their bar is.
Yeah.
I think the bar is so let me explain. I mean, I know you kind of know this already, but like so the reason we haven't seen a lot of Nintendo movies over the last few decades is because of the abomination of the original Super Mario Bros. Movie, the live action one. Like
Abomination.
Nintendo didn't have a lot of control over that,
I
and
got
as a
bone to pick
result,
with you. That movie's awesome. I love
okay,
that
hold
movie.
on a second, right? I enjoyed it. Okay, let's just make that clear. But it is also an abomination
No, it's in my top 10 movies of all time.
because you're a hardcore Nintendo fan.
No. When I saw it, I was playing PC games. I didn't really even know who Mario was when I watched.
And well, even if you like the movie, the point is Nintendo didn't like the movie. They didn't like the image it portrayed Mario in.
No, yeah.
They didn't have a lot of control over that,
I love
right?
the bomb arms.
And
I love the
yeah.
the flying jump boots.
I think they mishandled the Koopa stuff, but you know, Yoshi was cool.
Yoshi was
Anyway,
dinosaur was cool.
regardless of what you think or I think of the movie, regardless of how much we enjoyed it, Nintendo had a huge problem with what it did for its brand. They didn't like how it portrayed the Mario or the other characters of just the entire universe. They wanted more control. They didn't have control, so they kind of got scared away from the movie industry with that. Until now, you know, going back to Iwata's plan, they've had this plan for years to sort of expand the different Nintendo franchises to different things. So now they saw what happened with Detective Pikachu, and then they saw with Sega, right? What they did with Sonic, right? Like also I think their bar is, it has to be good, but also something that represents the franchise. That's what their
So they
bar
got Chris
is.
Pratt to voice Mario.
Hey, who voiced Pikachu?
This movie,
Who voiced?
my
I forgot the name.
expectations for the Mario movie, by the way, is that it's not going to be anything that anyone expected it to be. Mario's talking a lot. It's going to be very comedic. It's going to be just screw
Right.
it. They're going all out to try to make a Hollywood version of Mario.
Well, think about this.
And we'll see what
when
happens.
Ryan Reynolds did Detective Pikachu, the guy who plays Deadpool, and that worked out really well.
Yeah.
Right. So if they could get away with that for Pikachu, they could probably get away with Chris Pratt for Mario. Although I think Ryan Reynolds is great. So like,
The thing there also is the whole everybody loves Ryan Reynolds. Not everyone necessarily loves Chris Pratt. Although Chris Pratt is popular, he's not as like universally loved. I don't think I've found a single person who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, they're probably out there, but I have yet to see a single person talk bad about Ryan Reynolds. So there is that. Whereas Chris Pratt, for some reason, people are just divisive with him, and we won't get into what those reasons are. But and Seth Rogen, obviously, over.
I like him in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll tell you that.
But one thing I want to make sure we get to.
Hugh Jackman doesn't like him.
Hugh Jackman hates him.
Yeah. No. The one thing I'm with the start of this NCU, the one movie.
NCU, I love it. The NCU, baby.
Yep.
Let's go.
The one movie I'm looking forward to the most is Luigi's Mansion. You got to know they're gonna have one of those in the works eventually.
Especially with who they have voicing Luigi, it'd be perfect, man.
You got to know that they have, and they're gonna have one of those in the works somewhere.
But see, we also call this the NCU, but is it more like the
MCU,
more like the MCU, more
Mario,
like the Mario
Cinematic Universe?
Because
But they-
until they make a Zelda, until they do Metroid or something
Bro,
else, which by the way,
look
I
at
don't
how
know
they
if
handle
Metroid will
Dread.
ever get its own movie, but
No. Hard disagree.
oh,
Hard
here we
disagree.
go.
All right. So, okay, hear me out, okay? So, with Metroid, first of all, look at how they handled Dread. That was very cinematic. I feel like the storytelling in Dread was brilliant. Have you beaten the game yet? I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but play through Dread. It's really good. There's some awesome story beats in there. It's pretty impressive. Okay, it's awesome. Just to not give you any details, but say it's good. It's good. Okay? But also, you got to take into consideration the very inspiration for the Metroid franchise is a movie. Alien. The blueprint is already there. They can do it.
That's
it can
fine.
happen.
The fact that, think about the movies we talk about. They made a Pokemon movie, one of the biggest IPs in the world. They're making a Mario movie, one of the biggest IPs in the world. They're spinning off a Donkey Kong movie, which is also one of the largest IPs in the world. Metroid doesn't rank up there with the biggest IPs in the world.
No. Well, this is not, exactly. But you see, I'm thinking ahead here. I'm optimistic
You're
about
optimistic
the future. of
Metroid's
Metroid.
about to become that.
Right.
Another tool though
But-
to drive Metroid.
Yeah, I don't see Nintendo saying, yeah, we're gonna get some high tier actors and put out a really good, high quality Metroid flick.
Well, here's the thing:
Now-
you don't need that many actors. You don't need that many actors. You got Samus. Just, and then maybe is gonna make Ridley talk, maybe. But just so the other thing with Donkey Kong, though, to your point, Donkey Kong can get propelled by Mario. Right? That's a good point. Like Donkey Kong isn't had serious impact before, and it seems like Nintendo's plan is to give Donkey Kong that serious impact again. They want it to become a big deal. I get that. But similar to the way we're seeing signs Nintendo wants to push Donkey Kong, they're clearly pushing Metroid right now. You cannot tell me that this is not the best marketed a Metroid game has ever been. Like, Nintendo's pushing Metroid more than anything else right now.
I don't know about
They have a plan
best
for it.
marketed. I think it's just a game that shows really well.
Is there another Metroid game that they've marketed better?
I mean, the entire
I guess
Prime series.
The
entire Prime series is also happens to be the best selling Metroid games too. On top of that,
yeah, but except Metroid Dread's gonna outsell them. So
probably, but we don't know. I'm
It's gonna.
hopeful, but again, my projection
Oh.
was 5 million in sales, which would be far and away the
Which
best
would
selling Metroid of all
double
time.
Prime.
But again, we
Yeah.
don't know because like literally a lot of games go out there and they sell a lot in the first week and then just drop off a cliff. And Metroid sales kind of dropped off a cliff everywhere that we have actually had sales data for. So it's possible Metroid's getting the same treatment that pretty much everyone else in the industry but Nintendo usually gets, and that is everyone that wants it buys it right away and then it's done. So we'll see. We don't know that Nintendo's games sell well because they have evergreen sales, but Metroid's never had evergreen sales. So Metroid Dread would not only have to sell more at launch, it would also have to do something a Metroid game's never done, which is have an evergreen sales and keep selling month over month over month. Breath of the Wild sold 3 million copies in the last year. That's more than pretty much any Metroid game ever, and that's like 5 years later. They've never been able to do that with a Metroid game. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm hopeful, but also there is stats out there kind of pointing to everyone kind of blew their load at launch. And now that might be it. Now, there's a holiday period. Maybe we get a boost there. They're not going to stop marketing it until after the holidays. So we'll see. But I want to make sure I get a shout out here quick to JLo, who was excited the podcast is back, saying, woo! Podcast is back. Party mode. Thanks for the 20 bucks.
Yeah.
I got your little shot of vodka here. By the way, guys, for those who don't know, every time I stream at night anyways, not during the day, at night, if you guys do any super chats or anything like that, I do shots anyways. Sometimes you can convince Eric to pull off one. And then we also had a renewal on a membership earlier by Logan LeBlanc. Thank you so much for upping your membership for 5 months. I know the whole membership sniffed over the last week. They're all good to go. So let's go, Nate. Ninty Prime time. Woo the trio. This is like the ultimate trio. He is our most regular podcast guest. He's been on more episodes, I think, than anybody else. Maybe even more than Darren back in the day at this point, since he was so flaky.
5J.
More than 5J too, because he was also flaky. So it's almost like this is the Triforce of Nintendo Prime at the moment.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, you know, and Andre's Research just kind of hooking his YouTube channel onto the Nintendo Prime train, trying to take him to the moon. That's okay.
Sure, why not?
It's all good. Who cares?
Go subscribe. I mean,
Go seriously. Go subscribe to him. I'll pop a subscription link in the thing. We have a new thing this week where we do have a way to link his channel, and you guys can go subscribe to him. I'll pop that up. We do have a spam thing in the chat that our mods are not getting to. I will take care of quick.
Fantastic.
Have I made you a mod on here, by the way, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got that. Oh, Birdman got it too at the same time. All right. That's cool. Do you have any other thoughts, man, about Donkey Kong movie? Like,
I'm excited. I'm just excited to see. I love Illumination. I love the movies. So
for all you guys that hate Illumination out there,
excited.
he's exact opposite. Like, amazing minions, all that stuff's funny as shit to him.
Oh yeah.
I know some of you guys get annoyed by it. I don't really care. I think it's all hilarious. I'm not, if you guys can tell, I really love the original Mario movie, which means I'm not as judgmental about movies as a lot of people are. I just go to enjoy.
I go to laugh and then.
It depends on the movie. Yeah, it depends on the movie.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah,
I thought
I
Detective
mean, I just
Pikachu
go to
was
be
amazing.
entertained and try to keep it open.
And some people aren't into slapstick.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
my
so
wheelhouse.
some people aren't into that. They're like, some people don't like Will Ferrell because it's all slapstick. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's what he
That's why I love
does. And some people like it or don't.
Yeah.
I'm flexible with my interests, right? Like I can enjoy a good, serious, sort of dark, brooding movie. I could also enjoy something that's just very abstract and makes you really think or not know what's going on. I can enjoy horror. I can enjoy good romance, good comedy, and I can enjoy a good family movie. Yeah. So
well, and this
I'm
movie,
looking forward
based on
to
the
it.
cast, anyways, is going to lean towards the family. Try to be
comedy.
really funny slapstick comedy. So we'll see. And by the way, that's what Illumination is best at.
Pretty
So
sure
I
it's
would
gonna be
rather
the
Illumination do what they're good at.
Same vein
instead
of
of,
kind of Despicable Me type of thing. Going to be that same type of.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a billion Toads at one point on screen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think Chris Pratt actually would be pretty good. Like based off his sort of like demeanor in Guardians of the Galaxy, he's
I
kind
think
of
a lot of people
humor.
are just worried about the characters sounding like, especially with like Seth Rogen. I've heard some complaints that Seth Rogen doesn't really do voices per se in his when he does his animated stuff. It's just his voice, and people are all like, it might feel weird to have Donkey Kong have the same voice as say the Sausage from Sausage Party.
Nah.
And like,
I think it's hilarious.
I'm like, for starters, we need to remember that one is an adult film.
Yeah.
One is a children's film.
Right.
Children aren't going to make that association.
No, they're not.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean, Seth Rogen has kind of like he has like a tougher sounding voice, and Donkey Kong is definitely a tough guy, right? So like, I think from that perspective, it makes sense.
we'll see.
It's gonna be interesting to see like if they put him like in a humorous sort of context. Like I wonder how that's gonna kind of fly. I'm not saying it's not gonna fly. I'm just kind of curious how it's gonna go. Like I'm just very curious to see this all come together.
It was interesting that Miyamoto's actually going along with all of this because people were actually worried about Miyamoto being involved in the project because he's so reserved with a lot of the characters. And I pointed out that, hey, he also was the person who was the mastermind behind all those Pikmin shorts back in the day. And those are actually kind of cute and kind of funny and, clearly showing that he has an interest in animation and doing something with that. And by the way, I don't think Miyamoto, he's heavily involved in this, but I don't think, guys, he's writing the script. He's making every single decision. I think he's just doing what he's been doing at Nintendo a long time. He's overseeing, making sure the project stays true enough to Nintendo, but it's still its own thing. Clearly its own thing based on just the voice cast alone.
Yeah.
Clearly going to let this be its own thing, realizing we can't just take the video game and make it a movie. Everyone's tried that. It basically doesn't work. Like, why did Sonic work as a movie? They didn't really just take the video game and make it a movie. They created kind of their own thing around it with those characters, right? Same thing with Detective Pikachu. A fantastic game. You wouldn't really think it would make sense as a movie. But they didn't do it like the game. They took elements of the game and then kind of expanded to its own thing and actually made sort of a serious story out of it. It was really cool. I like what they did with it.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I think it helped that Detective Pikachu was it's already a spin-off that has more of a narrative than something that's an easier, more a traditional narrative than say like the mainline games.
Yeah.
So that was based off that. And I guess the key thing here is that specifically with the Detective Pikachu, I didn't watch the Sonic movie yet. I haven't. I should. But when you watch the movie, it's clear the people who made the movie know Pokemon. Like they understand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
you can tell that it's made by Pokemon fans. So the fact that Miyamoto has been overseeing this entire project, we're going to go in as Mario fans, and we're not going to be like, this was made by some dude who's never played a Mario game before. Like, you're not going to get that vibe. And that's going to go over a long ways towards, pleasing a lot of fans. And fortunately for for Mario, like, there's a lot of Mario fans. So, that is suggestive of a high-grossing movie already. Just on brand alone, it's probably going to do well, even if it's not, like, well put together. But I think it is. Enough.
I love the chat. Chief Firewater. Okay, we're not going to go too much into Sausage Party. I really love that movie, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's especially fun if you partake in some, let's just say when you're buzzing or any other adult thing you might be doing. Legally, of course. All right. I think it's time probably getting to our next topic, which, well, do you remember what the topic was, Eric?
Well, considering I could see it right on your screen, GoldenEye possibly coming to the Switch.
Yeah, buddy. So this is actually something that we were going to talk about last week, but hello! How's it going? Our channel didn't exist on this day last week. So,
no, it did. It was just Shiba Inu.
Oh my God. Let's not...
Yeah.
Shibu Inu punted to the moon, please.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, send them up in one of your rockets. Be done with it. All right, so, yeah. There was this thing where a partner company of Nintendo filed to get GoldenEye, quote-unquote, unbanned in Germany, which it really wasn't banned. But what happened with GoldenEye in the country like Germany when it originally came out in the N64 was they have a different way of rating things there. They don't just use the PEGI rating system. They essentially said this game can only be bought by people that are, 25 and older, which really hurt the ability for it to sell. You guys all know here it was teen and older, no problem, everyone can get it. But like they really restricted the sales of that game to a very specific group of people back in the N64 days. And Nintendo, what happens is all these things that happened back then get reviewed every 25 years. So we're actually not that far away from when this would have naturally came up for Germany to review that rating and remove the restrictions and allow people to buy it, which at this point doesn't really matter because it's never been made. This original form of the game has never been made available again due to all the different copyright owners, which, by the way, Nintendo is one of those copyright owners. There's a ton of companies that own copyrights for that specific game, which is why it's never really come back. We have had the GoldenEye, remake game, but it wasn't the same thing. So what happened is Nintendo's partner company actually filed early to have this game have the restrictions removed. Now, why would you do that when literally in like 2 years it's already going to come up again automatically without them having to pay a fee? Because they have to pay money for them to get it reviewed early. So Nintendo and their partner companies paying money to have the game reviewed early when it would have been reviewed in 2 years, a game that's never come out again. Why would you do that unless you're planning to have it come out again before that review period comes up? That seems to be the suggestion at this point. Again, it's sort of a leap of faith to think this, but also, why else would they possibly be reviewing this? It's not a movie-related thing, and it's a game from the 90s, so it's not like it's a game that's even currently available to buy anywhere. So the only reason would be, well, because it's going to be available again in some form. Now, granted, this might not be necessarily for Nintendo Switch Online. It could be an N64 retro console like they've done with the NES Mini, stuff like that. It could also be that, hey, this game's going to get republished on Xbox or PlayStation or somewhere else. I don't know. So that's always possible. But it was Nintendo's partner company, not Xbox and Sony's partner company that did this.
Yeah.
Now, you might wonder why not Nintendo directly. in Nintendo, in Europe in general, Nintendo basically relies on partner companies for everything. Like in China, guys, by the way, like Nintendo doesn't do anything directly. It's all through Tencent. They're partnered with Tencent. So you guys might hate Tencent, but Tencent's the reason you can buy a Switch in China. Tencent's the reason you can get Nintendo games in China, because you can't do anything in China without Tencent. They have such a monopoly there. It's insane.
Yeah.
But that's not the
I'll
case
say
in
that
Europe.
if-
Europe has their own different factions for different countries, and Nintendo doesn't just publish their own stuff everywhere. They work through partner companies. So that seems to be the suggestion. Now, there's more we can get into here about Nintendo Switch Online and the N64 stuff. But first, what are your guys' thoughts just on this general story, and even the minute thought that a game that hasn't been able to come back due to all these copyrights could come back? And my only argument I have, besides that this is a fact-based thing, that this actually happened, but we don't know what it's for, is they also had to jump through hoops with Disney, which I feel like is a much harder to do to get Sora than it would be to work with a bunch of movie production companies and right owners for an IP, when you can look at them and go, each of you will get a cut of money. Whereas Disney is like so protective. They've been blocking Sora forever. And it was, by the way, it was a chance meeting. We now know it was really a chance meeting for Sakurai that led to Sora getting into Smash. But there are more companies involved, which makes it more complex. There's only 2 companies involved for Sora. So, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
Before we jump into the N64 stuff, I want a tangent real quick. Quick one. Since you brought up Sora. Because we were getting more information from Sakurai and like some of the thought process that goes into some of the characters. Like with Sora, like there was a chance meeting that sort of propelled that. Obviously, there's more things that happened after the fact, but that sort of spearheaded that movement for Sora, right? Not to mention there is the prior stuff of him being the top voted character for the fan ballot. But then, like, we also hear recently that initially they wanted to have Rex in Smash Brothers, but the idea of having Rex and Pyra together got in the way from a technical perspective, so eventually they made the creative decision to just do Pyra and Mythra interchangeably as one character. So the reason I bring that up is just, like, a lot of people make these assumptions, like, oh, see, it was never going to be this character, it was always going to be this character. It's not that simple. When it comes to the creative design, like, perspective, like, decisions have to be made and changes need to be done to sort of conform to that, right? So, for example, people thinking that Rex never had a chance. No, Rex had a chance. It was just when it came down to developing the characters, this is how it sort of made the most sense. They had to make certain decisions to get something going. Or, for example, Sora. Sora ended up being like the ideal sort of climactic character. So people say, oh, well, Master Chief or Doom Guy could not have happened. Well, if they didn't have Sora, maybe they would have picked someone else that was kind of huge instead to close things out. Like, it just kind of comes down to how things shake out. It isn't necessarily that another character wouldn't have had a great chance if things just sort of if there were just like slightly different circumstances, right?
According to Sakurai, at least in terms of Sora, he was not part of this DLC originally. It was added on after the fact.
The bonus character.
And so the 5 characters we got before were actually just going to be the 5 characters that were going to be in the DLC. Sora was literally a bonus edition that happened after they already decided the character. This by the way, this is Sakurai who said this. So it's one of those situations where I don't know, the order of the characters coming up might have changed. That's possible. I don't know which one they would have ended with. You can say, oh, it ended with Banjo-Kazooie, but Banjo-Kazooie didn't sell very well, so that might have made me hyped, but most kids today playing Smash don't even know who the character is and doesn't care. So, like, is that really a good way to end where Sora is actually relevant today? So it's one of those situations I don't really know what they would have ended with. To me, I look at that 5-pack of characters without Sora, and I go, none of those characters are really, like, universally going to be loved. So they kind of sort of lucked into it, by the way. By the way, Sakurai's already explained all this. He explained how he bumped into someone at an awards show, and that's what got the ball rolling. He didn't even think it was possible. He's apparently tried before and got totally shut down. Because you guys didn't know, he's a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. Who knew? Sora Ltd. Oh my gosh, it's almost like he's referencing Kingdom Hearts in the name of his company.
Yeah.
It's funny how many people didn't realize how big a fan. It's like, did you not know the name of his company? It's literally a direct reference.
Yeah.
He very clearly loves Kingdom Hearts and would really love for Sora to be there, but like he literally said, I tried this before, and it was like, no, it can't happen. He thought it was impossible after he tried. Chance meeting, meet the right person, ball gets rolling, next thing you know.
Yeah,
cool.
the ultimate theme that I think we're both kind of agreeing on here is just like there's a certain air of unpredictability when it comes to these things. So like I guess basically
You never know what's
you know,
gonna make it come together. Yeah.
right, and sometimes there are happy accidents where they sort of find themselves in a situation where they can have a character like this to like close things out in a very beautiful, conclusive way, right? But going back to the topic, because I'm sorry I created that tangent there.
No, it's all related.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like that this is gonna happen, and for N64 Online specifically, like yes, you brought up
It would
other
be a
possibilities,
huge
but
get.
Yes, it would.
Hasn't been around in 20 plus years. Online multiplayer for one of the OG, like even Perfect Dark. I want that as well. But by the way, guys, I'm not saying I want this instead of Perfect Dark. Both.
Yeah.
Give us both.
Yeah.
They both were the pillars of FPS multiplayer games on home.
And
like,
this is
everyone looks at Halo and Xbox. Yes, that popularized online. But when it came to just couch co-op FPS games, it was you played on PC or nothing. Then these two games came out.
Yeah.
And it changed the game.
Except this time they'll be online.
Yes.
Like that. So that's so
1v1 v1 in
we're gonna
the facility.
Get into some
big heads.
Yeah.
Paintballs. Let's go.
We're gonna get into some criticisms for N64 Online, but before we do, one thing that's kind of clear about N64 Online is that in terms of the lineup that they have and what it seems like they have planned, they're going above a lot of people's expectations. Like, we already have confirmed Rare games coming. Banjo-Kazooie is coming. That was already something that a lot of people debated would even happen. So with Banjo-Kazooie coming, the implication is we could get other stuff.
I feel like after Banjo-Kazooie's
like Killer
announced
Instinct.
Smash, it was very clear that Microsoft is willing to work with Nintendo on anything.
Right. Yeah.
Because by the way, guys, Microsoft's probably getting a cut. They're not just going to hand you Banjo-Kazooie.
No.
They're going to get
that's
a cut
the rumor.
of subscription fees or something.
And that's the rumor as to why, part of the reason why the price is so high